Okay, so I'll start with this stuff. I did go here for 20 years, from 2 to 22, so all of my formative years were spent here, and I really love that there are people in this room that I truly love, or people that I have served with, so that's really cool. So this is my family. That's my husband, David. Some of you might know him. He was interim here for a little bit. We'll have been married 21 years this month, which is crazy. Those are my 4 kids. I have my girls here with me. Hannah's 18. She's graduating this year, and she will be heading to Corbin in the fall. I'm kind of in denial that she's going to be moving out soon. Oh, she's all mom bragging. She's also valedictorian of her high school, so get to throw that out there. Henry is 16, Harrison is 13, and Harper is 12. My husband is the lead pastor at 6-8 Church. We moved from Hazeldale to Battleground not quite 2 years ago. We absolutely love being in Battleground. It's where our kids go to school. And actually this past year, David started teaching choir at the high school. So he drives down the street 1 period a day, gets to come back and do his church job, and it's really neat. And then for me, I have a podcast, Girl on a Hill podcast. It comes out weekly, so if you like what I have to say today, please come look it up. If you need help learning what a podcast is, ask a teenager, or I can show you afterwards. And no shame, my son helps me with stuff all the time. So when people closest to me found out that I was asked to speak about having fun, playing, and relaxing, they all laughed. And my mom's laughing now. They kind of did this, they made an excellent choice asking you. For totally good reason. I'm not 100% sure I was even a fun kid. In the past, when my husband has asked me to relax, I've looked at him and thought, I don't even know what that word means. But I'm learning. So tonight what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk for a few minutes about some of the things I've learned about rest, and then I have a ton of ideas of some of my favorite places in the Northwest to share with you. So it is a struggle to rest and play and have fun. It shouldn't be, but for so many of us it is, even when we're presented with the opportunity to rest. So my family really gets on me. I have this beautiful day a week where I homeschool my middle schoolers, and 1 day a week they go and do their schoolwork at church with Daddy, and I get the day off. But then at dinner we share what we've done all day, and I just prattle off this list of tasks. And I fill up my day that I'm supposed to use to alleviate stress with work. And they get on me, Mom, you're supposed to have fun. And it's hard, but I know I'm not alone. And so I love that when Carly gave me the topic, she phrased it, how to learn to play and relax, because it's definitely not automatic for most of us. Because we gravitate toward tasks and productivity and achievement, and we bury ourselves in work and to-do lists, and we trudge through a life we're made to enjoy. Why? That's my favorite question to ask, is why? First, I think many of us wrongfully believe that resting and relaxing means we're lazy. I was in that camp for many, many years. And I think the underlying belief here that's uncomfortable to wrestle with is that we think we are what we accomplish. And when we believe our worth stems from what we do or how much we get done in a day, we're never going to rest because we're constantly trying to prove ourselves and prove our worth and prove our goodness. I know I really struggled with that when I made the jump from being a paid teacher to being a stay-at-home mom. I felt like I had to do all of this stuff to prove that I was worth it. But your value is never tied to your workload or to your stress level. Exhaustion is not a status symbol. I feel like sometimes we're trying to win these terrible adult versions of Girl Scout badges, like most stressed out. Sadly, Rebecca might win that this week. I hope you don't. Skipped lunch every day this week to do chores. I haven't gone outside in days. I'm coping well without sleep. These are not badges we want to win. We just act like we're trying to win them. Now, some of us believe that we can't stop. An embarrassing thing I've had to confront in myself is the false belief that the world will fall apart if I take a break, that I'm somehow just that important. The maker and creator of the entire universe took a rest, but me, no, I need to keep working. So I think God knew we needed his example. He knew what his children would become. And when God was done creating the world, he didn't need to rest. He wasn't tired. He wasn't stressed out. He's God. But he rested anyway, and I think he did it to set an example for us. His example says, 1, life's about more than work. It's about even more than your productivity or creativity. And 2, I think God wanted us to see that rest is meant to be part of our natural rhythm. that we're meant to step back and enjoy the life we've built and the beauty we're surrounded by, and to observe and ponder and say, this is good, just like he did. And that exploration and delight and wonder piece is really important, because wrong belief number 2, I think a lot of us shy away from relaxation because we wrongfully believe it means doing nothing. Until really recently, I thought about rest in terms of how you rested when you were home sick from school, kind of laying on the couch doing nothing. Price is Right and a Sprite. See, everybody, doesn't matter what age you are. I don't like sitting around, and I hate having the TV on during the day. So rest sounded miserable to me because I really just thought it meant sitting around like a loaf. But rest actually has so little to do with doing nothing, and it has very little to do with staring at a screen. My side note, did I bring my phone up? No. So many of the things we turn to for fun aren't actually fun at all. If something makes you feel like garbage, it isn't fun. So scrolling Instagram is probably not up there. And fun for you doesn't have to look like fun for her or her. So Melanie likes to rappel off buildings. My mother likes to sew. I don't want to do either of those things, and that's fine. That's what lights her up. That's what lights her up. You find what's fun for you. And introverts, you don't have to do the things extroverts want to do, and thank goodness. And if you don't want to sit in your chair and read all day like I want to, that's fine too. But it's about finding what lights you up, what fills you with joy and awe and wonder. Because rest is meant to be restorative and replenishing. And as people created uniquely, we're all going to need to be replenished in different ways. So rest and play is about doing what you love, being awestruck by nature, finding delight in the tiny things, being around the people that lift you up. Such a very small part is about resting and doing nothing. And we have this awesome example. For some of us, it might feel sacrilegious to think about Jesus having fun or resting, but we see Jesus seek out restoration and relaxation all the time in Scripture. And the work he was doing is so much more important than anything we'll ever do. So if he rested, we can rest. So we know he loved to be in nature. We see Jesus go to the sea and the mountains. And there's just something so inherently restful about being in nature. So a ton of my suggestions tonight include nature. He spent time alone, and he spent time alone in prayer and connection with his Father. So some of the suggestions I've included tonight are conducive to that. Great places to bring your Bible, great places to kind of sneak away from your family and pray for a little bit. And then we saw how he intentionally spent time away from the social drains and the pressures of ministry and sought out times of connection with his friends and the people who encouraged him. So I've also tried to include a lot of places that are about making memories and building connection with the people that you love. And I've tried to include a mix of things and ideas for every life stage. So I am going to pepper in some more truths that God revealed in my own growth to become a fun person. Still not there yet, I know. As I share ideas, but I have so many ideas, and I very cavalierly said I could do this in 30 minutes. So we're going to get rolling. I have so many ideas. Okay, I'm starting with local free things because life is expensive. And if you're like us, you might find that you have been priced out of some of the common attractions in the Northwest. It's $150 for me to take my family to the zoo. So that's not really an option for us anymore. So we're starting with free. So if you have a library card, which if you don't, please go get one. That makes me sad. It's my hat. I wept when we finally got to go back in the library during the pandemic. I wept, embarrassed my kid. Totally worth it. If you have a library card, you can go on their website with an experience pass. That's my next slide, is how to get there. There's 11 attractions in all that you can go in 100% free. I will say absolutely none of their attractions are super kid-friendly. So if you're looking for a great place to go with your preschooler or your 7-year-old grandson, these are not the places. But awesome. So the ones I have featured are the Piddock Mansion. Really fun. You can go for free at Christmas. It's amazing. The Lansu Chinese Garden, also absolutely beautiful. The next two are really similar. There's the Columbia Gorge Discovery Center and the Columbia Gorge Museum. I will say the Columbia Gorge Discovery Center in the Dalles, which is the middle one, is a little bit more kid-friendly. They have an Oregon Trail town kind of set up. And the first one in Stevenson has a lot of outdoor trains, if you have a train lover in your family. And the last one is the Maryhill Museum of Art in Goldendale. There's actually a whole bunch more. If you're into historical museums or museums about rocks or carousel horses, they have you do your thing, find your thing. Okay, so if you don't know how to do it, go to FVRL.org, find the research, learn, and do, check it out, the little experience, and then you just sign in using your library card, pick the attraction you want to do, print it out, make your date, and you can go. Super fun. Okay, I'm putting this one in next. If you have kids, grandkids, niece or nephew, somebody you want to entertain, plus if you have grandkids, make their mother happy, take them for the day. She will love you. And ordinarily, it's $60 for our family to play one game of bowling, so this might be a way to do that if that is not an option for you. Kids get 2 free games a day all summer long. Now, I signed up to get alerts about Tiger Bowl and Battleground, and that hasn't happened yet, but you can register at Crosley right now, and it's for kids ages 2 to 15. So it's worth it. You do have to pay for shoes, but it's a way cheaper way to go bowling. Okay, parks and playgrounds. Now, who knew God was going to speak to me as I thought about parks and playgrounds? But he did. So as I was planning for this talk, I was really trying to figure out why something simple like a park or a playground stood out as so memorable for my kids. And then it hit me. It's so much easier for me to be in the moment with them when we're not at home. I'm super great at setting up fun stuff for them to do, and then I carry on with whatever I'm doing. I keep working on my next podcast, or I get a load of laundry going, or I get a jump on dinner. That is not connection. I have learned that you can spend a lot of time near the people you love and confuse that as being with them. They're very different things. So the second thing that struck me about something simple like a park is that I think sometimes we approach fun as needing to be a big production. Kids don't need fancy. Date nights don't need to be fancy. What people really want is love and attention and space to explore and play and wonder, and parks are so perfect for this. And parks also, as a mom who is high stress and, again, not a lot of fun, helped break me out of my rut and my all-consuming love of routine. So I'll go through these and I'll tell you a little bit more. These are our favorite parks. I had my kids kind of help me come up with, okay, kids, top 4. Okay, I have to shout out Louisville because it's close to my house. It's amazing. What I love about Louisville Park is that if you are introverted, like I am, there are little hidden spots around. Now, some people, if you are the mom that wants to go and make a best friend at the park, you can do that too. They have the big, giant play area, and your kids can find all the kids. But if you're the mom like me that prays, please, Lord God, let no one speak to me while I'm here, there are also little areas where you can just find the little slide. You can find the quiet area with your kids, or then you can go down a trail. You can bring your tennis racket, bring a soccer ball. It's amazing they have it all. It is $3 to park. I will say that. Okay, Columbia Park in Troutdale. This might be a great one if you have to kind of rope your kid into going back to school shopping. Okay, if you go to the outlet mall and shop for new school jeans, then we can go to this amazing park. The picture doesn't do it justice, but I wanted to sneak a picture of my son who's not little anymore. Huge wooden play structure. It's just very unique. It's so much different than your regular swings and slide. Now, the Evergreen Aviation Park in McMinnville, this is a little bit of a hack. This is outside of the giant museum there, which is fine. I've been there. If you're into the Spruce Goose, go fine. But if you're just driving through and you don't want to pay admission, it's free to go on the playground. And they have a whole bunch of airplanes outside, so if your kid really likes airplanes, take a picture, play on the playground. Might be good enough without paying the hefty admissions price. Artists at Play Playground, this is right next to the Museum of Pop Culture, the funny shaped building in Seattle, right in the heart of Seattle Center. It's amazing. So my kids are big. We went to Seattle last summer, and they still wanted to go see they didn't really play on the playground, but we sat and watched kids play on the playground. They still wanted to be there. It's cool, right? Yeah, okay. They didn't want me to draw attention to them, but what are you gonna do? Here's my thing. Pack a picnic. It's just a peanut butter and jelly outside, but for whatever reason, it was magical to my children. It breaks up your errands. If you have a long day, kids in the car, couple it with a trip to the library. Shout out to the library again. If anybody else homeschools, bring a workbook to the park. And this is my pro tip. Anytime we're going to a new city, I Google the best playground in the area. On our trip, we went to Everett last summer, and the kids, their first question wasn't, are we going to the Funko Pop headquarters? Also super cool. Are we going to Snoqualmie Falls? Also super cool. They wanted to know if we were going to the zipline park. It was just as important to them as the big attractions because we've made it a point to go to this special playground every time. And it's free. They love it. Kids do not need fancy. And it's also been really helpful for our trip whenever we're doing a weekend trip or a day trip or our cross-country trips. Like I said, we're priced out a lot of these things, having 6 of us. So we have to kind of pick and choose the attractions, and playgrounds really round out a trip without extra admission or souvenir money. Now, this park gets its own slide because we love it. This is Marase Plaza Park in Wilsonville. We have done so many family things here. What's great is there is an undercover area where you can sit in the shade and still be closer to maybe parents in your group that have littles that need to keep an eye on them when they're in the fountain. So you can still kind of keep an eye on the kids you want to keep an eye on. Super fun. And also, I mean, there's so many fountain parks in Portland, but maybe Portland doesn't feel super safe for a lot of people right now. This park is far enough removed where you're not really going to run into the sketchy bits. Super fun. My kids loved it. They wished they could run through that without looking socially unacceptable now. This is the hidden gem, the Water Resource Center. Absolute hidden gem. 100% free. There's a playground nearby. Round out your trip. This is kind of a great gateway if you're thinking about taking a kid to OMSI, because it's all the little hands-on things, and there's never a soul in there. I don't know that there's ever been a person in there anytime we've been in there. It's amazing, super fun, very quiet, absolute hidden gem. Okay, this one is fun because I live in the middle of nowhere, and this is by my house. So I really like the Cedar Creek gristmill. You can go every Saturday, you can go any day of the week and just enjoy the scenery, and there's a trail up along this side where my words are. David and I went and watched salmon jump up the ladder, and there's picnic tables and a little hiking trail. Beautiful. But if you go, and if you go any Saturday between 1 and 4, you can go inside the mill totally for free, and there will be a person in there giving you way more information about a grist mill than you ever want. But they're milling fresh flour or fresh cornmeal, and they let you take a bag. And it's amazing, and it's really delicious. And then if you go on the last Saturday of the month, they will feed you, and they will feed you for free. And this makes us sound, you're going to find out we like treats. We've been there on Strawberry Shortcake Day, Blueberry Pancake Day, Cornbread Day, and Apple Pressing Day. All worth it. If you go on Apple Pressing Day, you're going to park really far away and wait in line for at least an hour. The other days, you walk right up, you take your pancakes, be on your way. It's worth it. It's fun. We love it. Oh, the Ridgefield Wildlife Refuge. This is another good one. It's a $3 honor pay. You drive in a little loop. What I kind of thought about this one, it was the Mr. Rogers of attractions because it has this beautiful slow pace. And I like teaching kids to slow down, and something doesn't have to happen every second. There's something beautiful about sitting and waiting and hoping a silly little animal called a nutria that you didn't care about at all before, but now you really care about, waiting for it to come out and look at you, or waiting for a heron, and then you're wondering, when did I become 95 and care about birds? But you really care while you're there. It's super fun. There's people with really cool cameras. We love it. Oh, and now it just opened this week. You can also walk the trail if you really want to get your steps in. Okay. This one, okay, we are no longer free, sadly. But if you are intimidated by the waterfront, as we are, because we are not fancy people, and those restaurants look intimidating to me, where the hamburger is $50, but you can still go down there and have an amazing date night. It's one of our favorite places to go. Take your friend, that's my beautiful sister-in-law, go with another couple. What I love about it is that you don't have to sit and endure the restaurant ambiance, or wonder why you suddenly are watching UCLA wrestling or trying to talk over the server or whatever. You can just go get your food and go sit on a bench and look at the beautiful water. So the two places I have included here are What a Catch Exactly the same seafood as wild fin, half the cost. Walk up, grab your fish. Blackberry basil lemonade, highly recommend. Go sit and look at the water. Okay, now the yard. I am not recommending the $20 milkshake because you don't become a pastor for the dollars. But ice cream, it's a $6 ice cream cone. It's amazing. And then you go and you do it and you do the thing and you go and you sit and watch the water, and it's actually a pretty cheap date. Now, I told my kids I'd tell my funny anecdote, and they have my favorite flavor, Blue Monster. David and I went there on a double date. We're pretty good friends with the superintendent of our school district. And then I didn't realize until I'm sitting there that my entire mouth is blue with essentially my husband's boss's boss. But, totally worth it. Blue ice cream, worth it. Okay, now, I am sad I made this slide before they added the paid parking at Multnomah Falls. So, I'm still gonna recommend it. My husband proposed there. It will always be special. But Multnomah Falls right now is a $10 paid parking. In the summer, it's going to go up to $20. And you do have, it's a bummer. Just the one major one. You can find some along the side. And Bridal Veil, you can park for $5 at Bridal Veil, and they'll shuttle you. Bridal Veil is actually my favorite of the falls. It's a much simpler trail. Multnomah Falls, I always start off at this pace like I'm in amazing shape, and then it's switchback 7 and I'm gonna die. But Bridal Veil, if you're not in great shape, it's still a pretty good hike. I mean, an easy hike. It's not that bad, and it's a beautiful waterfall, and hardly anyone's ever there. Now, Yakult Falls, this is again pretty close to my house. If you go right now, you will be like me, sitting alone, looking at this beautiful waterfall with no one there. If you go in the summer, that's going to be full of about 40 kids. Right now, no one. And again, Molten Falls, right now, no one. Go take advantage, go look at the spring waterfall, walk across the bridge before people are trying to jump off it. Now, if you're going to look at waterfalls, you have to stop in Cascade Locks. These are our favorite places. The East Wind Drive-In is where my daughter is licking the giant ice cream, and that is a small. Buy the small. You do not need the large. And she'd been eating that for a while. It's worth it. There will be a line, 100% worth it. The picture next to the ice cream is Bridgeside. David and I actually go there on our anniversary quite a bit. We usually go hiking and then we go here. It's a little cheesy, the decorations are not awesome, and you have to stand in a line, like a lunch line, to buy your food, but you get that view. And it's amazing. They're not open for dinner, they're only open from 7 to 4, but you get to sit and enjoy that view, and after you've just been hiking, it's worth it. The bottom pictures, all free. The first two are Bonneville Dam, and the last one is the Bonneville Fish Hatchery. That's Herman the sturgeon. He's something like 90 years old, still alive, been there. Forever, my kids they love looking at that fish ladder, and actually fish are active there now through September, so it's fun to go and see it. Those are the turbine hall, and it's totally free. How much is free these days? Okay, this was really fun. We went here on a field trip at the beginning of the year. I had never been to the World Forestry Center. Lived here my whole life, never been. It was actually really cool. Now, I would say it's probably geared more towards younger kids, but my 2 middle schoolers, now if they had been around other middle schoolers, they might have said it was lame, but they actually really liked it. It's really cool. So they're in that little Jeep, and they have like a model, like a train, a full-size kind of train, and a boat that looks like the Jungle Cruise boat, and this zip line thing. It's amazing. Instruments, you crawl through the log, and they have a little extras too. They have picture books and postcards and pencils and things to give you. And then there's obviously stuff that adults are going to like too. They had my husband's a wood nerd, and they had wooden plates made out of hundreds of kinds of trees. And it was actually a really cool place. And that was $8 for adults, $5 for kids, and $7 62 and up. I thought it was well worth it. You do have to pay to park at the zoo lot. I think that was like $6. But then we were so pleasantly surprised. We coupled our trip to the World Forestry Center with the Rose Garden, which was just around the corner. We were a little nervous. We were thinking it might be a little homelessy. But it wasn't. We felt 100% safe the whole time. Nothing going on, just lots of families, lots of people enjoying the flowers. It was absolutely beautiful. I was so happy to find a little pocket of Portland that we felt 100% safe in. Okay, my favorite. Fruit Loop Day is a Linder family holiday. Now, we usually do it in October, but it's also amazing. If you like cherries, go this summer. Best cherries you're ever going to find. There are way more than 4 stops on the Hood River Fruit Loop. These just happen to be our family's 4 favorite. My mom will back me up on this one too. You have to go to Packers. It's the cookie place. They're way expensive for cookies. You absolutely must do them. I highly recommend the s'mores cookie or the black and white cookie. Really good jam too, peach vanilla. Keakawa, we have been going there since the kids were little. That's why I love seeing those pictures of them small. They have this amazing fort that the kids love to play on, and the best apples. I wish you could smell that picture. Amazing. Honeycrisp apples as big as your face. Absolutely amazing. Draper Girls, really fun. They have a petting zoo. They have all kinds of goats. Our kids swing on that swing every single year. It's awesome. And then the Gorge White House, which now I realize as we took my daughter's senior pictures there, I'll probably cry when we're there this October and you're not there. But that's okay. Beautiful flower fields and fields you can just walk on. Beautiful views of Mount Hood. Highly recommend. You can totally do the Fruit Loop for no money. You're going to want to spend money because you're going to want to buy the fruit. But none of the farms cost money to walk onto. You can go look around all of the farms for free. We kind of try to do a fun thing every year, one we've never done. We've gone to a lavender farm. We did this weird one where you picked chestnuts off the ground. Find your thing. Find the farm that you love, but get a cookie. Okay, now, you all live here. You've been to all the beaches. But I'm just going to tell you my favorite things to do at the beaches. So, Astoria. First of all, you have to go on the trolley. It's $1. How much can you do you can't even buy anything at Dollar Tree for that. $1 to ride the Astoria trolley. And it's a pretty long loop. We took my mother-in-law. She really liked it. It's cute. There's a little guy that does a little spiel. It's nice. We love antiques. That's Fog Bounders. That's our favorite. And actually, they have reasonably priced items. Now, we usually go and have a picnic because, again, the last time we ate in Astoria at Pig and Pancake, I think it was $110, which is a little pricey. So we pack a picnic, and this makes us sound crazy, we eat under the bridge. But we eat under the bridge at the Maritime Memorial Park, and we absolutely love it, and it's just something our kids look forward to. We eat before we head on over to Long Beach or down to Seaside. And if you're going, you must go. Again, we have a problem with ice cream, and I own that. Fruit and Scoop, that is the London Fog ice cream. I would drive to Astoria right now for a scoop of London Fog ice cream. It's amazing. Okay, see ice cream again. I told you I have a problem. Admitting it is the first step. Long Beach is 100% my favorite beach of all the beaches. I think it's nostalgic. My advice here is when you go to the beach, you don't have to make it this big paid excursion. We always pick one treat, and then the rest is free. My husband doesn't get it. He didn't grow up here, so when at first I really tried to sell marshes to him, he's like, "Oh, this is great, Bekki." It is great. Jake the Alligator Man is amazing. But go do the Cheesy Museum, walk on the boardwalk. Let your kid put a quarter in the clam and let it squirt. It's kind of fun. And if you have never met a devil dog from Dylan's Cottage Bakery, this is my gift to you. It tastes like Jesus' love. I am not kidding. People could get saved with devil dogs. There's a beautiful lady at our church. Every time she goes, she brings them to me now. Pick one treat, and that's Scoopers ice cream, a billion flavors. Okay, Cannon Beach. My favorite things. I had to talk about Ecola State Park. It's a $5 parking fee, but it's worth it for the whales. I think 75% of the time we've been to Ecola, we've seen a whale. Not as many as if you're going to go to Depot Bay, but you're probably going to see a whale. The next is Hug Point. If you've never been there, you absolutely have to go. I didn't go until I was 30-something, so I'm hoping that's new for somebody. That's about 5 miles south of Cannon Beach. I will tell you to watch for the tides, because I was trapped out there and having to play a little bit of that, jumping over giant puddles. Super worth it. There's little caves and things, and if you have a little boy that wants to play pirates, he's going to feel incredible just sneaking in and feeling like a real Goonie. Haystack Rock, obviously, you can't bring up Cannon Beach without that, and that is why the Cannon Beach Moe's is my favorite, because I love to sit and look at Haystack Rock. Side note, absolutely not the best clam chowder I've ever had. That's at Timberline Lodge. And if you're a coffee snob, you have to go to Sleepy Monk. If you like Dutch Bros, you can skip it. They're not even in the same league. Okay, sorry. My kid went there today. Okay, Seaside. My tip here is do not wait for the perfect day to go on your adventures. And I mean this twofold. So if we wait to go on our adventures or to take the day trips or to even leave our house until we're not busy, you will never go anywhere. I have been saying stuff to people like, oh, we'll have you over when life slows down. And life has not slowed down. And it never will. And then if we wait to enjoy the Pacific Northwest when it's a nice day, again, you're never going to go anywhere. So I put up pictures of my kids at the beach in the rain on purpose because we've gone in the pouring down rain and still had an absolutely wonderful time. I also wanted to bring up something here. Every time we go, I make them take a picture in front of Lewis and Clark. I don't care that it embarrasses them. We do it every time because it's a great way to mark time, to show the progression of my kids getting older. Second, bring lawn chairs. We have learned this in our old age. I don't like sitting on the sand anymore. Bring a lawn chair. It's so much more comfortable, and then you don't mind watching your kids play because you're comfy and not full of sand. Cheap kites are just as fun as the fancy ones. That's an end cap Walmart kite. Flies just as great as the ones that cost $40 down there. And if you forget your sand toys, you don't need to go into a store and buy expensive ones for your kids. One year we forgot, and Harper built sandcastles for 3 hours with a Wendy's cup that was in the back seat. Totally fine. My absolute favorite thing at Seaside is Tipton's. I made the slide just so I could tell you to go to the Christmas store. If you've never been to the Christmas store, yes, they're nodding. It is magical, and it smells like cinnamon, and they will give you a free chocolate if you walk in. We buy a Christmas decoration every time we go. You must go to Tipton's. It's on the main strip. They did not pay me to say that. I'm just a crazy fan. Okay, Oaks Park. I will actually be there next Saturday with my husband's choir kids. So, thoughts and prayers for that. Now, Oaks Park can be a little bit pricey, but I have 2 tricks. The first, if you have a preschooler in your life, or any child up to age 6, all summer long there is Chipper's Preschool Mornings. I took all of my kids until they aged out, and I was super sad. This happens every Tuesday and Wednesday, June 18th through August 28th. It's from 10 to 12:30. What's awesome about it is bigger kids aren't allowed in the park right then, so you're not going to be overrun with teenagers being rowdy or saying bad words. It's just little kids and their moms. It's $13 per kid, but you as the grown-up are free and can go on all of the rides with them. So it's actually pretty reasonable. And at the end, there's a story and a snack. My kids loved it. They absolutely loved it. And none of the big rides, none of the rides they're not allowed to go on are open, so you don't have to tell them, no, I'm sorry, you're not tall enough to go on the roller coaster. It's just the little kids' rides. Now, you can also go regular admission. Now, it does get pricey. It's $44 to $49 for people taller than 4 feet and $23 to $26 for those under 4 feet. But if you don't want to ride on rides, you can walk in the park for free. And absolutely everyone can ride the train and the carousel for free all the time. So if you happen to be in the area and you just want to ride on a merry-go-round, walk into Oaks Park for free, ride the merry-go-round, and leave. Okay, Seattle. We love taking trips to places like Seattle because we can get away for a couple of nights. We choose usually one bigger thing to do a day, and then we fill in the rest with the free stuff. And I call this the touristy stuff and the found stuff. My tip here is always leave room for the found stuff. Last year we stumbled upon a farmer's market. We found a really cool park next to a lighthouse. And then we found out it was the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park. And we found an enormous movie theater, and we just went and did that. Leave space to explore. You don't have to plan out every second. It is also okay to be a tourist and to do the really cliche things. Go to the gum wall. It smells gross. It is gross. It's a cool picture. You watch them throw fish. Again, smells gross. What's with Seattle and the smells? Take your 50th picture of the Space Needle. It's totally fine to do that. Our family's absolute favorite place in all of Seattle is the fountain in Seattle Center. It's called the International Fountain. And I did this, again, mark time. Take the same picture every time. I love those pictures of my kids years apart. We love it. I could sit and watch that fountain all day. Now, my bigger ticket items on this picture are the Museum of Flight and the Museum of Pop Culture. I would say the Museum of Pop Culture is a do-it-once kind of a thing. It's spendy, and I wouldn't do it unless you're into sci-fi movies or fantasy movies. If that isn't of interest to you, I probably wouldn't spend the money. But the Museum of Flight is actually really, really cool. I'm not into planes, and I was weeping at the World War II exhibit. It's actually super cool. Okay, Whidbey Island. God convicted me as I'm talking about having fun with people. Okay, so I have been learning that the love of money is not just about spending money willy-nilly. It is also about gripping it tightly with both hands and being Scrooge. Now, we went to Seattle last summer, and I knew my husband really wanted to go on a ferry. We hadn't gone since we were first married. Our kids had never been on a ferry. And I almost wrecked it with my, I don't want to spend the $20 for the ferry pass. I wanted to fight it over $20. Sometimes when you've saved up the money and you're on vacation and it's about making the memories, it's worth spending the small amount of money to make the memory. So practicality doesn't always have to win. I put, yes, you can buy a whole carton of ice cream at Safeway for the price of one of those cones, but it is also about the moment. It's about being in the moment, sitting under this amazing oak tree with your kids, listening to live music, watching the water. It was a memory. It's worth it. And this is another picture just to the testament of found items and to leave space to wander and meander and not move so fast. That will forever be one of my favorite pictures of you, Harps, just finding the bubbles or taking a second to just sit on the bench or gaze at the water. And yes, again, like I said, we have a problem with ice cream. If you go, this is Sprinkles ice cream, and I highly recommend the banana cream pie. Okay, Mount Rainier. Now, Mount Rainier is a $30 pass to get in unless you have a fourth grader. I miss having a fourth grader who will get you into everything for free. Or if you are over 62, a national park pass for life is only $80. Very worth it. Every national park for free for the rest of your life. Now, I am a super fast-paced person. I'm getting better. Even on relaxing outings, though, I'm usually ready to just tick the box, take the picture for Facebook, and move on. See the next thing. But I have never, ever experienced before or since the stillness I felt at Mount Rainier or the calmness that washed over me. I can't even put it into words. Specifically, it happened for me at the Grove of the Patriarchs, which is, again, if you are not a hiker, this is rated like a 0 on the difficulty scale. You gain no elevation. It is all flat. Anybody could do it. And that is where I got the amazing picture of my kids next to the giant trees. And you walk across that bridge, which you have to go one at a time. It's not very high. I don't like heights either. I get nervous at the mall. True story. Walk across the little bridge, and then you can go, and my kids are throwing the rocks. That's there. Oh, it's amazing. And there's something about mountain lodges there, and at Timberline does it to me too, where I feel different. It's just a calmness. Go. If you've never been to Mount Rainier, go. Okay, moving paces very differently. Could it be more different? Silverwood. Now, we are an amusement park family. We absolutely love rides. Can't make it to Disneyland every year, but when we can't, we do love Silverwood. It is $74. It's $20 more per person than Wild Waves, and I think it's worth every penny. It's a billion times better than Wild Waves. Sorry, Seattle. We absolutely love the rides, and we eat ice cream for dinner when we're there. We really makes us sound like we have a problem. But But our favorite part, and I don't have pictures because you can't take them there, is they have a water park. And I decided a few years ago I was going to stop missing out on joining in summer fun with my kids because I was too self-conscious. I think we get really in our head about what we look like and what everyone else will think about what we look like, when actually no other woman at all is thinking anything about you. She's thinking about herself. So put on the swimsuit and go down the water slide with your kids. No one is looking at you. Give yourself permission also to do the things that we've written off as just for kids. I don't want to believe that just because I'm in my 40s now, I can't go on roller coasters and go down an inner tube and go with my children. I can. It's fun. Also do stuff this summer like eat Otter Pops and run through the sprinkler and jump on the trampoline. Actually, David built a seesaw for Harper for her birthday one year, and my favorite thing is when adults come to my house and they all hop on the seesaw, and it's amazing. My mom's been on the seesaw. Ouch, yeah. But we absolutely love Silverwood. It's really fun. It's a great option if you can't make it to California. And we always couple our trips to Silverwood with our trips to Spokane. This is my slide where I'm just encouraging you to find your family's thing and your family's special place. Absolutely none of us can pinpoint why Spokane is magical for us, but it is. We love it. We go as often as we can. These are my favorite things. It's worth it to go get a picture of your kid in an enormous wagon. Come on. Riverfront Park is full of these little pocket parks all over the city, and you do lots of walking. I haven't ridden in the gondolas since high school, but they are fun. We went in this other park top left, and we watched a movie out on the lawn, also free, Spokane Falls. And so much of this park, I don't think we spent money on any of these things. So you can go find your city that you love for whatever reason you love it, and you don't have to do all these attractional things. Or we spent our money on our Silverwood tickets, and then we filled up the vacation with walking around playing in the park. I love Spokane. Not as much as I love Bend. I'm not going to talk about Bend as much because I could talk about it all day. God has specifically changed my life 3 or 4 separate times in Bend. Actually, one of the hugest parts of my testimony happened at the library in Bend. Stories for other days. But it's amazing. So a lot of these pictures are of Benham Falls. If you ever go, please look up Benham Falls. It's not a hard hike at all. I call it a pretty walk. That's what I like. My husband and I's relationship started because I snuck the little lie in that I loved hiking to get him to ask me on a hike. He found out very quickly that was a lie. What I really love is walking by pretty things, and that is what Benham Falls is. Drake Park is part of their... God changed my life on that rock. When I was a youth group leader at Laurelwood Baptist Church, I was on a retreat there. My youth pastor sent us into Bend and made us be quiet for 8 hours. Anyway, God changed my life that day. Old Mill District, super fun shopping. The High Desert Museum, again, I would say that's a go once kind of a thing. They really do have a cool, old-timey town to walk through and some otters and things. It's pricey. Do it one time. But the rest of those things are free. Okay, I saved my favorite place for last. This is the place in the world I am the most relaxed. As I was studying for this topic, I cried as I made my Sun River slide, and that's normal because I cry at everything. But I've always known Sun River is and has always been a place where I've been able to meet with God in an extraordinary way. And I cried as I realized that my stress and my constant on-the-go tasking, my to-do list lifestyle, is maybe part of what gets in the way of that connection happening in my everyday life. We have to make space. I find that we talk at God a lot. We ask him for things and beg him for things. But how often do we make mental headspace to listen to what he wants to say to us? And I hear what he wants to say to me in Sun River because I am not doing those things. I've left my laptop at home. I don't care about the laundry because it's not with me. I'm not thinking about my kid moving. I'm thinking, I'm in this amazing, relaxing space, and I let him speak. But here's the thing, God's always there, and he's always talking. God's not only in Sun River. It's just that I've made space for him to speak to me there. But, I could talk about Sun River all day. We went on our honeymoon there. We go back for almost as many anniversaries as we can get away. Okay, here are my things. First of all, if you're going to rent a house down there, rent a house with bicycles. Even if you're not a bike riding family. I hadn't been on a bike since I'm 10 years old. I have a bike now, but We loved it, and we found riding around like, oh, we just rode 7 miles. Like, we're fitness people in disguise. It's amazing. We rode to the stables. We always try to find a place to stay near Fort Rock Park. Again, playground, simple. David and I last year had a house where we could walk every day to the village, and we would get our coffee and get our donut and just sit and enjoy the quiet together. Find a house. All houses down there come with passes to the Shark. We've never gone when the water slides are open, but the pool is open, and you can go play racquetball and pickleball and all of that. Now, the Sun River Observatory used to be free. It isn't anymore, but I have to tell you, it's kind of worth it. That telescope that my daughter is looking through lets you see the sun. You actually get to look at the sun. They have it set on solar flares, not through the little eclipse glasses. It's totally cool. Bible. Sitting on those back decks, I don't know why I don't do that at home. God's in my backyard, but okay, and floating. Never thought in a million cajillion years I would recommend floating. Again, you have to put on the swimsuit. Also, coldest I've ever been in my entire life, but the most fun I've ever had. It was amazing. One of my kids might not agree with me, but it was so much fun. I totally recommend floating. Last but not least, this is where the real magic is, guys. And the beauty is that the magic is there waiting every day for you. There are always going to be stuff you have to do. You have work, you have to do laundry, you have to feed your kids. There's responsibilities, and you can't always get away. We've had seasons where even small trips are just not in our budget. But connection and fun and rest and play are always options. And some of the very best moments of my life have been 100% ordinary. Now, my favorite memory from last summer, to wrap this up, wasn't riding roller coasters at Silverwood or walking around Seattle. It wasn't flying kites at the beach or exploring downtown Spokane. It was one night where all 6 of us were laying on our trampoline in our backyard watching the meteor shower in August. That was my favorite memory of the whole entire summer, and that didn't cost a thing. Find the moments. Find the small little moments in your own backyard with the people that God has given you to love. It is playing pickleball with your kids. By the way, $30 best I ever spent on Amazon. We were outside playing pickleball. We are not an athletic family. We were playing every day. Reading a book in the sunshine. It's tending the garden and sneaking the cherry tomatoes with your kid before anybody else gets them. It's closing your eyes in your hammock and hearing nothing but birds, root beer floats by the fire pit, walks, pulling yourself away from Netflix for a few minutes to actually look at the sunset, eating dinner outside. It's just small, ordinary, wonderful moments that I want you to be able to create and then relish in those simple moments this summer. I'm going to pray for you. Yeah, I'm super excited. Lord, I just thank you for the opportunity to come speak at this church that built me and speak to people in this room that I just love dearly. And I pray that you would help all of us learn how to play and rest and relax. Help us to realize we don't have to hustle and be constantly on the go to be good enough. Help us find the moments of fun. Help us be willing to put down our work for a few minutes. Help us learn to prioritize connection over silly things like laundry. I pray that you would help us find those small, wonderful, ordinary moments this summer. Make space for us to take a few little adventures and give us the courage to take them when the opportunity presents itself. Again, bless these ladies as they go out tonight in your name.